There's so much money. I mean, so much money now poured into Power 5 schools. And
Right.
the Big Ten's printing money like nobody's business. The SEC, nobody's going broke. Nobody's going broke in any Power 5 school. And given the fact that, hey, when you have a football team, you got 120-some guys running around, you know it's going to be 100 degrees outside, whether it's a workout, a practice, whatever the case may be. Conditioning is a 365, 24/7 deal now. It is inexcusable for any kid to be in a position where he is pushed to the limit where you go, hey, I'm not sure he's doing well. And, you know, it just it breaks your heart when you sit there and you think about Jordan McNair and what, you know, now he's going. Can you imagine being his family?
Yeah,
And you're sitting here waiting for some kind of review that's going to be done by September 15th. I mean, I can't even put myself into that position to see how would you react. You'd go crazy. But it should never happen at Maryland or anywhere else, or the money is so big and so strong in terms of resources and, again, the medical staff and technicians and everything else. It's really hard to fathom something like this can happen.
Mark, let me ask you this, and I believe I had heard maybe on your show when you were interviewing someone that the media has requested the video of that particular practice, and Maryland went out to release it. Has Maryland said whether or not DJ Durkin was actually at that practice or not? Was he on the field?
I've not heard any confirmation that he was there, but I just know that in this day and age, almost everything that these student athletes do now when it comes to some kind of workout or practice is on tape. And we had conversations about this yesterday, obviously, since it was such a huge story over the weekend and still is and will be. I'm hard pressed sometimes evidence that can at least say, hey, here's what happened in the 40 minutes prior to where we think the medical examiners say that the stroke took place at 5 p.m. and the paramedics were called apparently at 5:57. I know the school has refuted those reports, but, you know, that's why you do an investigation. I think that's why all of us really, quite frankly, even in the media, really need to be careful in terms of saying, hey, thumbs up, thumbs down, and get rid of this guy. Hey, let's see what we know to be true. And right now it's still so early in the process. The only thing we definitely know is that Jordan McNair passed away, and that should never have happened.
Here's the thing. I guess I can understand some coaches being a little bit clueless about heat exhaustion or whatever, heat stroke. I mean, it's 2018. I think most Division I, certainly the head coaches and top coaches should understand these things. But it's just unfathomable to me that the trainers couldn't be going on. And I don't know what they did, but the fact that he went to the hospital with a temperature of 106 and didn't appear to be given that ice bath yet, that's just – can you speak to that at all? Because I almost blame the trainers more than I do the coaches.
Well, I mean, I think it's going to fall under the premise that, hey, as the head football coach at School X, you're responsible for the following, which would be all the above.
No doubt.
But you're right. I mean, like I said, with all the resources now, and let's be honest, these kids, we had Gene Chizik on the show yesterday, and we were talking about this as the head coach, and he said, hey, listen, you push the limits. These kids want to be caught and want to be taught, and want to be pushed because you also got to love them. When things are not going right, whether it be a physical thing, a mental thing, you hug them, you love them, and it's tough love. He said most of these kids, in his opinion, want to be coached, want to be pushed, and they're all normally in such great physical shape because it's so competitive in this day and age. And like I said, when you're a member of a Big Ten school or any Power 5 school, this can't happen. I mean, it just simply cannot happen. So, if this is a deal that, hey, where do you point the finger? You point the finger at the entire staff.
Yeah, no doubt.
Because this is, this all falls under the premise of, hey, at the University of Maryland and for future recruits, we're going to take care of your kid. Whether we're talking about women's lacrosse or we're talking about college football, that is part of the deal. That when a family says, hey, listen, not only are we going to get a great quality education, but if we're going to play sports, I want to feel 100% confident that my kid, regardless of the sport, is going to be taken care of, not only in the classroom, on the field, coaching, the whole deal. It's part of the deal. So, this is a DJ Durkin issue, but it may be even more specific, as you pointed out, regarding the trainers.
Well, I mean, of course. I mean, the head guy and your staff, you're going to take the fall for it. But the trainers are the one that are trained specifically to deal with this. That's what's so maddening about it. I don't know.
Yeah,
the other thing that points to, Mark, there is an inherent conflict between trainers and coaches because coaches want their guys and feel that pressure to make them available. You know, and if a trainer's not giving them the green light to go, they're going to get rid of you and bring in another guy who's going to be more, you know what I mean? There's kind of a yes man mentality of that job almost.
Well, it's reached the point now. Listen, we're talking about strength and conditioning coaches are now making upwards to $600,000 a year. When you start asking college football coaches who are making a ton too, and I'm not belittling anybody for what they can make. Hey, if somebody's willing to write you that kind of check, that's what you're worth.
Right.
But it's amazing, though, when you talk to other coaches around the country, which we do on our show, that when they start putting together a staff, yeah, you want to have a great offensive and defensive coordinator, but that strength and conditioning coach is really a critical piece to the success of any big-time college football program because they understand that when you're talking about that many guys, hey, you want to push the limit in terms of, what are they going to do from a physicality standpoint? It's a tough game, let's be honest. I mean, I know you guys up in D.C. talk about the rules of the NFL and have we made the game softer. Hey, college football is looking to be safe too, but it is a tough, physical, violent game, and it's played by guys that better be tough and physical. So that strength and conditioning coach is a critical hire to any college football program around the country, and that includes University of Maryland.